Toss and turn seems so absurd, but is this real love, baby? Is this real love, real love? Real love, real love.
What's up, everybody? Cryptocopia. We are live and ready for another live stream AMA. These are weekly AMAs that we're doing with exciting projects in the space. A little bit about Cryptocopia. We're a community focusing on all things cryptocurrency, perfect for seasoned vets, beginners who are new to the space and just kind of getting their feet wet. I'm your host, Michael Kripkala. You can find me on Twitter or on Discord in our Discord community at Mike Spellcheck. But enough about me. Today, we are joined by CEO and founder of Metal, Marshall Hayner. So Metal was founded back in April of 2016, and their plan was to use cryptocurrency as an incentive for users to join the Metal Pay app, which is a peer-to-peer payments and transactions app. It's designed beautifully to get new users involved in the cryptocurrency space, which is a big hurdle right now for new apps in cryptocurrency. So I'm going to, turn it over to Marshall. Marshall, how are you doing today, man?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for having me on, Mike. And thanks for Cryptocopia community, a community I've been a member of for many years, supporting Metal throughout the years and having us on the show today.
We were just talking a little bit before the live stream started. You said you joined Cryptocopia back in 2014.
I think it was either end of 2014 or 2015, and it was a Slack channel when I first came in. Mm-hmm. And that was where I met Three-Eyed Raven, Balls of Steel, all the Keylone, all yourself, Double QP, everybody that's Havo Hedge. I know I'm leaving people out. Geldwolfs, all the admins. Developed a personal relationship with a lot of you guys, and I really do view Cryptocopia as a very OG crypto channel. It's really great to be here.
I mean, hey, it's great to have you on. It's really awesome to see somebody who is involved so early in just the cryptocurrency space, because it's easy to forget, but like it's been what, 10 years, 11 years since the Bitcoin white paper was even released. So it's not a lot of ground that we have that we've been running, but it's great to see somebody involved so early with so much success with their own application. Could you just tell us a little bit about your background, some of the projects that you've worked on, and how you started working on Metal in the first place?
Yeah. So 10 years. We just celebrated the Bitcoin 10 year. I came on a little bit after it was started in the beginning of 2009. I went to school in Boston, Massachusetts, great college town, home of Harvard, MIT, Northeastern. That's where I went. And just was always fascinated with cryptography, decentralized networks. I love to play with technology just for fun because I think it's interesting. I'm a very sci-fi, futuristic guy. Like, I like to think about what can we do in the future, and also how broken is our existing stuff. So I just want to live in the future. Frequently, my friends say like, "Oh, where'd you get that gadget?" Or you're always on the latest thing. It's because I want to live that futuristic. I want to bring the future to reality, right? And so one of the things that was very exciting for me was the internet. When I was growing up, the internet was like, I'm a child of the internet, right? And fell in love with the novel Ender's Game. You've probably seen the movie. Cryptonomicon. Was reading about 2600 mag. I was actually involved in the online zines talking about the origin of really OTR encryption, PGP encryption, and I saw the early formation of the eCash and Bcash and all of this stuff. So when I discovered Bitcoin about 10 years later, when I was a teenager to when I was in my 20s and I was in college, just out of college, I really, really fell in love with this. I followed BitTorrent because I thought BitTorrent was such a cool thing. I was around, when Napster was, hey, Napster, that's so cool, right? Well, what's the evolution of that? When Napster shuts down, what came next? What came next was LimeWire, Kazaa, these other networks, but they really sucked if you remember using them. They're still around today, pretty slow. And then BitTorrent, that was so cool because it solves such a really interesting problem. And I got obsessed with that. And 2009, I was moderator on a lot of BitTorrent community websites, things like that. And it was really all about, not about piracy, but about the Library of Alexandria, the decentralization of information. That was, right? That amazing. What if we had these massive records, right? Probably at different times of history have become so technologically advanced and then go through these like dark ages, right? How do we preserve this information? That was so exciting for me. And I've told this story probably a million times, so some of you already know it. I was moderating what.cd, which is a forum, BitTorrent forum. and for music lovers. And Trent Reznor, the singer from Nine Inch Nails, shows up and says, "I'd like to release my music on what.cd." And as any good moderator should, as you guys know in Cryptocopia, yeah, right, Trent Reznor, what's next? He's going to ask us all for money and then whatever.
Block him, ban him.
Block him, ban hammer, right? But sure enough, he tweets from his real Twitter account, verify my what.cd profile. So I unlock the thread and say, go nuts, right? This is, and by the way, huge fan, super cool music. I've listened to you my whole life, really cool. And everybody comes up with different ways that Trent's going to release his new album on what.cd and get paid. And somebody said, what about Bitcoin? And that was immediately Google, what's Bitcoin? Is that like BitTorrent? Like with a coin? What's that? Because I was obsessed with BitTorrent becoming 80% of all internet traffic, right? It was this massive success story, right? Bram Cohen created this in his bedroom and then it explodes. And really that was what got me into Bitcoin. I Google it. And the second I discovered it, I thought, oh my God, well, if BitTorrent can become 80% of all web traffic, then Bitcoin can become 80% of all financial instruments. Not quite. Once I got a little bit further along, I realized, okay, well, there are a lot of hurdles to overcome. What are those hurdles? User experience, right? User interface, the technology. It's very cool protocol, and we're still in this protocol kind of level. But it was 2009, and we already had Venmo for 2 years. So I'm not going to download Bitcoin QT with a multiple gigabyte blockchain on my hard drive and say, don't worry, I'm going to Bitcoin you over Venmo when I have an iPhone and Venmo versus my MacBook Pro is overheating trying to download the blockchain. Okay, that makes sense. We have to make it easy. So that launched my passion. And I lurked for many years on Bitcoin Talk, on different forums, Reddit, different forums. And then by 2013, I had made the decision, I'm going to make a really easy to use Bitcoin wallet. I'm going to make it so easy that my grandmother and I could send Bitcoin back and forth. And my grandfather, my grandparents, right, who are extremely technically savvy, which is awesome. And they really kind of, watch me playing around on the internet, and I would bring them things and say, hey, let's play. So I created QuickCoin, which is just a one-click Bitcoin wallet. It uses your Facebook OAuth. Facebook has pretty decent security, and that's enough to hold your petty cash, right? Like what would you keep in your wallet? And if your Facebook account got hacked and you lost $50, it's not the end of the world, right? But the truth is the next level is hardware and key management. How do we make this amazing experience? Because what cryptocurrency does, and I know that the mass market doesn't know this yet, but it really democratizes currency. It really decentralizes currency. It allows us to create economic experiments that we couldn't have done in 1,000 years prior to this, which is really this mind-blowing moment. I can have money in my mind. That's crazy. And so that got me so excited. And I created QuickCoin. We grew very fast, rapidly grew that platform over 2 months, approaching almost 1 million users, and then joined the Stellar project short after that and helped launch the Stellar wallet. That grew to over 1 million users in about a week, in under a week. And that was an amazing experience. And then I left and I joined Block.io. And that's where I met our current CTO and co-founder, Glenn Marion, got involved in Dogecoin community because Dogecoin was so much fun. What's Doge? Oh, such wow, much fun. 1 million Doge. How much is 1 million Doge? Oh, it's like $100, right? Or like how much is like 50,000 Doge? It's like, under $1, right? So that was really cool for me. And I saw that, and that has inspired me throughout this entire journey, that when consumers and merchants and businesses and large companies like Facebook and JP Morgan, hint, they're in it now, when they start to adopt and these platforms start to adopt, we can create the most amazing technological advancement that finance has seen. And, I know it sounds crazy, but hundreds of years, in my opinion. And that's what I'm all about. And that's what started my journey and got me here today.
No, that's super interesting. And I feel like there are like 8 different directions we could go in right now. Which is why I love this stuff so much, because you have to, really be a master of a lot of different hats to really get a sense of like, all right, what is Bitcoin doing right now, but what is the potential someday, right?
That's right.
But why don't we just talk about real fast? So MetalPay is, it's a really successful app on the iOS, the Apple Store right now. You guys have, gained 30,000 users just since January. So could you tell us just a little bit about what led to that success? What kind of drove that adoption that you've been seeing?
Yeah. So we're actually over 50,000 today. So a little over a month, almost doubled. And some of the things that have really driven that success I would say good UI, good UX.
Mhm.
The incentives. Pop is such a novel idea, right? Because I think I frequently use the comparison to the phone network, telecoms. You think back to when we had phones recorded, right? And you
Mhm.
called someone in a different state. That's a very expensive long distance call. And then cell phones, right? Cell phones became popular, but still very expensive long distance. But then at one point, we just dropped all the long distance charges. Call any state you want with your cell phone. And then you have WhatsApp and Telegram and Facebook Messenger and Skype and all these other things coming online. And now I can call anywhere in the world for free. That, I believe, is really what's happening to money, right? I used to pay a fortune to send it somewhere. Now I'm just gonna send it to the other side of the world. Like I'm gonna make a video call with you, and we could be on other sides of the world on the Zoom call right now, and it's not gonna cost us anything, right? In fact, it's free. Or well, maybe we have to pay for the pro version, right? But that's not so bad. That's pretty amazing. And so, some of the things that have driven the success are, our referral system, the Pop reward system. And Pop is such a cool idea because it's, V1 is PayPal 1997, right? And that was, okay, I have to choose, is this a gift or am I making a payment to a friend or family member? And the fee is going to vary on that and the protections are going to vary around that. It was really a platform that was built for a merchant market, which was eBay, right?
Okay.
And then you have Venmo, which is over text, that's free, right? Then you have Square Cash, which is like a cooler UI connected, eventually, hopefully connected to the Square Cash merchant terminals. Very cool. But the next iteration of this is completely changing the payments game. I'm going to pay you to make a transaction because when I discovered Bitcoin in 2009, it took me a few weeks to understand it. Where's the API that it plugs into the bank? I need to see, wait, you're telling me there's no bank API? How the hell does this work?
Right,
and then I
right.
wrapped my head around it. Oh, wait, they're just units that like gold, like an ounce of gold. How much is an ounce of gold? What's one Bitcoin, right?
Where's the money coming from? How do you create a Bitcoin? Where's the bank?
That's right. And that's the mission of Metal, is to rethink the way we view money, rethink the way we think about money. Because money, what is really money? It's a shared ledger and a belief system and a government, most likely, right, that enforces it and controls the capital expansion and restriction through a Federal Reserve, a central bank. And that's really what money is. But most people don't look at their paycheck or the cash in their wallet and go, where did this come from? And who's printing? How much is being printed? And how does money get created, right? When we start to ask these questions, it's like going to the gym, right? You want muscles? Go to the gym. Start asking questions. How do I get more muscles? Well, I got to eat better. Well, I got to go to the gym every day. When we start asking these financial questions, we can start with, how do I have more? How do I budget? But when we ask the really deep questions, where does it come from? How does it work? Some really amazing things start happening.
And I think actually one of my favorite, like you were just saying, there were so many different ways to look at it, just the idea of money. Like how exactly do you, like, what do you call it really? Andreas Antonopoulos called it a language, which just blew my mind. It took me a little while to get around, like thinking around it like that, but he basically just considers it a means of expressing value and how we, ascribe value, who has more value than somebody else, or, a way of, I guess, quantifying work that other people have put in that you could, purchase from somebody else, work put into harvesting a banana that you're going to buy, or, putting together a burger that you're going to eat, or whatever name your example, right?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And, I've got a really funny meme. Do you mind if I just share my screen for a second? I'm going to share a really funny meme that I put together. It's probably not out on Twitter yet, and my social media team is going to get mad, but it's really funny. You've seen this one before, right?
Is this an OG meme? Are we just getting a premiere?
You're getting a premiere. I'm totally spoiling it. But, number one, like little brain, when you pay for everything with your cash and your debit card. Number two, when you start using P2P payment apps over traditional cash. Number three, when you ditch your old payment apps for Metal and start earning money with every transaction. What? Number four, when you realize money is just a construct and shared belief that is really representative of the collective community and consciousness. That's a language. That's a language. All right. So anyways, I just want to share that one. I thought that was
great.
Kind of relevant, right? But yeah, that's
it's just a construct, man.
Just a construct, man.
Just a construct.
All the molecules in my finger was a universe, right? But it is true. It is a language, right? You want to use a new currency, you got to learn the language. You want to play with a new coin, interact with a new coin. Well, we're going to go to Cryptocopia and ask, who knows something about it, right? Experts tell us.
There you go. Well, hey, listen, speaking of pop, I wanted to ask you a little bit about the economics of pop. So for anybody who, isn't as familiar with the metal project, I guess the most straightforward way to put it is, as you're spending money, as you're transacting and sending money to your friend for, the Uber that you just took last night to get back home, spent $20 and you earn, I think it's around or maybe exactly 5%, cash back, but you're not receiving cash, you're receiving metal tokens, which you can then, exchange, or you can sell in exchange for Bitcoin or whatever other crypto that you want to purchase that's, hosted on the platform. So Marshall, what I was wondering was just basically how the pop economics work out. I know that they're not, processed via proof of work. They're processed by people transacting, right? So what I'm wondering is, over time, how do the inflationary economics work out? Will there, come a time where there's no more metal to distribute? And then what happens then?
Yeah, so it's probably a lot more complicated than most people realize, but just like Bitcoin, just like Ethereum, just like any cryptocurrency, we have these you have the white paper, right? Which is like, this is my thesis. This is what I think we can do. Now let's try to build it, right? And so that was the thesis was in 2016 when I created the white paper for Pop. This comes from my experience of, as soon as it clicked for me in 2009, I realized, well, wait a second. The second that this takes on value and we have exchanges of value and people use this technology, oh, excuse me, looks like my light went off here.
Oh, no, it's all right.
As soon as that takes on value, what ends up happening, right? As soon as that takes on value, the mining companies are no longer going to sell the chips. Why should I sell you a cash printing machine when I could keep it for myself? And then hasn't that happened today, right? We went from, selling Bitcoin miners to, I'm a transaction payment processing facility. I'm Bitmain, I'm Bitfury, I'm, and it's not really about making and selling the miners as much as it is about who can be the biggest mining farm, right? The largest company in mining. And I saw that coming and I thought, well, Bitcoin is such a cool idea because 21 million, I was there on P2P Foundation for the original conversation. Why 21 million? Well, we have 7 billion people in the world. We have 21 million Bitcoin. Everybody could have 3% right now. You can mine on your computer. You can do this right now, right? But I thought that won't be something that everybody does, because I'm fairly technically savvy. And I know that most people would never do this, okay? So I'm like, if this takes off, somebody's gonna have to build a better piece of software. But like Moore's law would dictate that that's not gonna work. So we need some human-powered way. We need some more human, realistic way that's relatable to the technology that we know, starting with the UX and UI around sending, around linking to bank, around all these pieces, and incentives for the merchants to realize, oh my God, don't go to the ATM anymore. That is a scary, weird place that you go and pull out easily faked paper strips, versus we could 100% kill the counterfeit and you never go to the ATM again. We can do cash transactions with merchants. That was the impetus for metal. So proof of process payment, what it means is basically, as soon as that payment is processed, and we start in V1 with metal and our platform on Nebula, and to test it, will this work? Well, I'm happy to say that even in the doldrums of the bear market, this model works. And it works really well. And a lot of people told me it'll never work. Well, let's find out, right? We built it, we put it out there. It's up to 5%. So it's not 5% on every payment, but it's up to 5%. It's variable and very similar to mining. If everybody tries to mine, the difficulty increases and you're not going to get as much. So if everybody's popping, of course, there's not like unlimited 5% for everyone, but you basically, maybe you hodl, maybe you wait. And then maybe over time, that unit outpaces the difficulty, right? Or how easy it is to mine and what's the cost in the future. So we created this mechanism to say anybody can use Venmo. Now we can use metal, right? And we could also transact with cryptocurrency. So it's not just about being able to send and receive it, but it's about it never leaving the system. Why do we have to sell it? Why do we have to sell it? In fact, most people in Cryptocopia, if we could live our crypto lives, if we could take our bags and just spend them and the bags could come back around. I'm saying bags affectionately because I love the idea that we can have so many different languages, so many different currencies. And so Pop basically says, now we have a fair and equitable way to distribute based on identity, based on reputation, and based on transactional volume. because you can't theoretically transact more than you have in your bank account. And of course, people will try to cycle and different things like that. But what does that give us? That gives us incredible anti-fraud data. So that's part of our business model as a company. And then so the other piece is that's really interesting is that the goal for Metal blockchain is, and this is what we're getting into now, is expanding the blockchain side and putting the identity and the risk and reputation score in the chain. So eventually the Metal blockchain can pop on its own completely without any centralized mechanism. We start with Metal and distribute the Metal currency. And the Metal currency is where you're going to embed your identity, not only in its own Metal chain, but we're building on top of other chains like Ethereum. And I can't mention them all today, but we're looking at the other chains as well to integrate, because this is one of the big problems in crypto. The banks, are very, and financial services are very interested in cryptocurrency, but from a regulatory perspective, one of the biggest problems is know your customer, know your business, anti-money laundering, anti-terrorism. And so if we're comfortable knowing each other on the blockchain, then why not have this web of trust? And why should we ever sell to fiat when fiat itself can live on the chain? That's the number 4 in the meme, right? Like the mind-blowing moment. So that's the vision for Metal, and that's where we're going. And after proving this with the Metal Pay app and hitting number 12 in the App Store and going above Robinhood and all this stuff, it's like, wow, we can really do this. We can really make this happen. And I've gotten a lot of people reaching out to me and saying, keep it up, keep pushing this adoption curve, because at some moment people are going to realize, wow, this is so much better. This is so much better. I could send I could send $100 from San Francisco to Lagos, Nigeria. It'll take me 30 seconds, right? And that's never been done before. And it's only going to make sense when we have the platform that does it. This is why Facebook is looking at cryptocurrency. This is why JP Morgan is looking at cryptocurrency and saying, I think what we need is a representation of something we already know, currency we already know, like US dollar on the blockchain. And what kind of platforms have over 1 billion users that could get this thing out there, right? Makes a lot of sense.
So that's actually a really, really interesting segue, because I wanted to ask you about Facebook. We're going to switch to community questions pretty soon.
Cool.
As soon as we're done, kind of talking about this. But I was just curious. So there's rumors every day almost that Facebook might do something with crypto, especially with Zuckerberg's privacy manifesto. However much you want to believe what he's saying, apparently Facebook is a privacy-centric company all of a sudden. And there are rumors about the blockchain group, within Facebook and what they may or may not do, stablecoin, whatever. So what I'm wondering is, hypothetically, Facebook announces FB coin, and all of a sudden you're allowed to and able to send money on Facebook Messenger, back and forth to your friends with FB coin, right?
Right.
So would you see that as a major challenge to your business, or would that be something that just brings a crazy amount of validation to cryptocurrency and is actually a huge opportunity for Metal?
1000% the latter. If Facebook does that, that validates everything that we're doing at Metal. I can plug into Facebook social graph. I can list Facebook coin. I can integrate it, and those users are going to come onto my platform, because Facebook is great, but it's not known as Venmo. It's not known as Zelle, even though, Messenger's trying, right? And lots of apps are trying. We like to keep our money in our bank, in our payments app, and we like to keep my messages in my messages app, right? And if there's a little bit of like a tip bot or some sort of transfer, that's cool. WeChat is a great example of where we can integrate currencies with the social network. That is a tremendous inspiration for me. I think having Facebook do this would be so awesome. One thing that was really cool was in January of last year, approximately about a little over a year ago, David Marcus and the Facebook blockchain reached out to me. It is before it was announced, invited me down to the Facebook headquarters. We sat down, we talked about, what does this look like? What does the future of this look like? And I said, I pitched what I'm pitching right now. We've got to have stablecoin. And what I pitched to them, and maybe they're listening today, maybe they're not, who knows? But what I said to them is, stablecoin would be really cool. I think you guys should look at distributed ledger technology. And I also think that you should think about a floating currency, right? Like a grouped currency, like that's, Facebook's coin, right? Let it let it ride at the value of Facebook. And yeah, also stable coins and other cryptos should flow over Messenger. And I basically pitched them, you should integrate my app and pop through Messenger, right? They thought it was cool. We've been in touch. We've been talking. I'm a big fan of what they're doing over there, and it's really cool. I do believe that these platforms coming online and doing it only validates what we're doing. It's only going to push more users when they get their first Facebook USD and they realize, oh, there's all of these other coins out there, right? There's Bitcoin, there's Metal, there's Ripple, there's Stellar, there's Ethereum, there's all these really cool cryptos. What do they do? It's, as we know in Cryptocopia, as we know in crypto, it's like sports teams. What's your favorite team? What's your favorite crypto? What jersey are you going to wear? I'm going to wear Metal. You're going to wear like Ethereum, right? We're going to be different teams. But we have different passions, but we all come together as the crypto community. And yes, there's infighting, but I don't associate with that. But I believe that we all come together as this community, and we are pushing for adoption. We're pushing for growth. One of the things I would like to see more in the community is less infighting, more coming together. And I'm seeing it now with the whole hashtag Biddle, or however you pronounce it, Bildle, whatever. That's really cool because I love that. I love seeing people come together and saying, you know what, this is not about price, because we can get really excited in the run up and we get really depressed in the downturn. I've been there, right? I saw 2011 when we got all the way from like $1, like almost $2 to $30 and back down to $2, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then we went to, $50 and, 2013, we're like 50, 60, $70. Then we go all the way up to $1,200. Then the Silk Road. Oh my God, is that all Bitcoin's used for? That's how the media portrayed it. But you introduce a new form of currency, as the history of San Francisco will show, in the gold rush. Yeah, you're gonna have crime. You're gonna have bank robbers. You're gonna have bandits, of course. But that's how we harden the system. That's how we get to the future, right? And I love seeing the community come together and build in this phase of like tremendous building, and forget about price, forget about all these things. If we change the way that money works, we can change the world. And it's not about, yes, money is what puts the roof over our head and gives us food and clothes and all these things. But when we really start thinking about it, we really get down to it, it's just a language. And by us becoming globalized in the currency sense, it is going to change the world, because there are parts of the world, developing nations, that have tremendous natural resources, tremendous people they're building amazing things, but it may not reach other parts of the world. When the flow of money matches the flow of information, it's gonna be massive.
Yeah. Fascinating, man. Really, really, really. It just is so fascinating to think about. Well, listen, we're going to switch it up, and we're going to actually move to community questions. So we're going to roll out the floor. I know you guys announced a giveaway, actually.
That's right.
It's 1,000 metal.
That's right.
To anybody who is asking a question live within the AMA. So why don't we get that started? I'm just going to try and run through as many as I can, and we'll try and spread the wealth, to Twitter, to Cryptocopia. So let's get it started.
Let's do it.
So Yellow Sin is asking from Cryptocopia. First of all, hello, everyone. I was eager to test and use the iOS app, but I found it seems to be available only in the US Apple Store. So what are your plans regarding expanding outside of the US?
Yes. So as you can probably tell from the previous statements that I've made and other interviews I've done, absolutely. The point of Metal and the vision of Metal is PayPal 2.0, right? Is money 2.0. And so if PayPal was restricted, PayPal, amazing company, but really restricted in where it could go. So when PayPal expanded, every time they went to a new country, they have to set up their bank, because how else are they going to move the money, right? But for us, we don't have to do that. There are OFAC countries like North Korea and Iran. And for a US company, we can't go there. But everywhere else in the world, we can go there. So Metal's business model is that, yes, we started in the US, and we started this way because we wanted a focus group. We wanted to really nail one thing well. One of the things I've learned in startups is do one thing really, really well, and then go out from there. But if you try to tackle everything, you're never going to make it, right? Mm-hmm. So we launched last year in 38 states in 2 territories, and we're rapidly expanding to cover all of the US. New York, that last hard one with the bit license, right? But the idea is that we start this way, And then very soon we are going to roll out Android and
Okay.
Europe. So bank support for US, bank support for Europe, that's planned for this year, and Android and web. And when we do that, we're going to open it up to the World App Store. And the idea is basically in the world version, if we don't have bank support, say in Kenya or another part of the world, what you do is you basically just choose your bank as a crypto, right? So your fiat pairing or where we draw funds from, your source of funds, is one of your cryptocurrency wallets. And now this network starts to interact with all of the US and Europe that's connected to the bank. And then as we're expanding around the world, like WeChat, like Telegram, like WhatsApp, you don't have to have a bank or really any identifying information, anything other than a phone number and a text message, and you're in, right? Just like Telegram, just like WeChat. Once you're in, you choose a stable coin, a cryptocurrency, metal, whatever you want, Bitcoin, whatever you want as your funding source. And you start interacting with this platform of all these users, and it's basically global. The really cool part is that we can expand rapidly, and then we fill in those countries as we launch our bank partners. So we could expand faster than PayPal ever expanded. And the idea is that it's open source, that we're building out the SDK for the Nebula API, as well as our own blockchain, to say, anybody connect to this thing. Anybody can connect to this thing. You don't need a license from us. Connect to the blockchain side. If you want deeper features, yeah, you're going to have to sign a contract with us as a company. We'll give you deeper features. But on the blockchain side, it's permissionless, right? Anybody can connect.
Okay. Awesome. Why don't we jump to Pop-Tarts for you? They're wondering, isn't it a great name? Pop-Tarts for everybody. All right. How much competition do you think you'll face from Square in the future? They allow users to buy Bitcoin with a lower fee and also to send it to an on-chain address.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're getting very close to Square feature parity. Here's what we're missing that Metal has that Square doesn't. The Metal doesn't have that Square has. We don't have same day withdrawal yet, and we don't have the debit card and mainnet withdrawal. But all of those features are planned for this year. I've been saying this for a few years. I do believe that competition is going to get fierce. I do believe that it's going to heat up. There's a reason why I was down in Menlo Park talking to Facebook and David Marcus, and I've been talking to larger companies like Google. Why do I talk to those companies, and why do I share so much information with them and want to talk and partner with them? Because I believe that once this thing really starts to take off, Metal has to pick a partner. Metal has to align with a big dog and ride with a larger company as well, because they do own a lot of the data. They do tend to have these things. I do believe it will get competitive. Absolutely. I love being the mouse dancing next to the elephant and saying, yeah, you're a $20 billion company. I'm a $50 million company, and I'm close to feature parity, and I've only been running for like 2.5 years, but you have like over a decade on me. Watch what happens when I get considerable funding and we start to really grow this thing, because I think I can outpace your features faster. And that's when most likely we partner with a larger company. It is our goal to partner with larger banks and FIs. We really do want to build that consortium and that open source efforts. And you can see from Facebook and other companies, this push to start to give privacy, start to get encryption. I nerded out geeked out when I saw Facebook allowed me to add my PGP key. I don't know if many people know you can do that, but that was really cool. Big hat tip to Mark Zuckerberg. There's a lot of things that we could complain about that he's done, but that was pretty cool. I do believe there's going to be incredible competition. There's no doubt, but I know that there's so much tremendous potential for a company like Metal when we're months away from feature parity, and we don't even have close the amount of funding that Square does. Another note, I know Cryptocopia community knows this. We are one of the smallest token offerings, private token offering of 2017, 2 million, when most companies raise, 20 million, 100 million, 200 million.
4 billion. Shout out to EOS.
We raised such a small amount of money, and we made that 3 million, 1 million in equity and 2 million in our token, made it look like 30 million, right? So we're going into our next round right now, and we're gonna raise 10 million, and we're gonna make that look like 100 million. We're gonna keep doing that, raise responsibly, execute on the vision, and have that passion. Hire an amazing team that's not here for the money, but's here for the vision. Here for changing the world. I know that sounds cheesy, but we really believe it here at Metal. We are gonna change the world. We're gonna play a part in that.
I love it. All right, let's switch over from Cryptocopia to some Twitter questions. And just a heads up, everybody, the giveaway is only going to apply to questions that we're able to ask, mid AMA. So anybody that's able to ask a question live, they're going to be one of the winners of that metal jackpot. So
Awesome.
the metal team will, I'm sure, be reaching out to you. We have your handles.
That's right.
That'll be squared away. But in the meantime, Deedle with
Deedle.
4 E's. It wants to know, what is the
Shout out
planned
to Deedle.
timeline for crypto deposits and withdrawals? I'm so stoked for that feature.
Yes. So that is going to probably be within the next 2 quarters. You're going to see first deposit's going to come, because obviously deposit is the easiest from an anti-fraud perspective. I get past 3 blockchain confirmations for Bitcoin. I get past 30 for Ethereum or metal, and boom, we're good to deposit. So that'll be the first piece. And then withdrawal comes next. Withdrawal is a little more complicated because you have that fiat to crypto side, which has, a payment system that is incredibly flawed, incredibly broken on the banking back end, that has no payment hardness. Then you have Bitcoin and Ethereum and metal that have, incredibly strong payment hardness. So over the next few months, I would say, over the next few months around Android time, you're going to see deposit, withdrawal, and crypto. Something that I'm really excited for, this is really cool. Have you ever been out somewhere and you tell someone, hey man, can you pay me with Bitcoin? Can you pay me with metal? And people, well, so now we have the metal app so people can sign up and do it, right? But prior to that, you couldn't do it. I'd say, oh, okay, sign up for a Coinbase account, buy some Bitcoin. Oh wait, I have to verify. I have to wait a week. I have to clear funds. No. With metal, alongside the deposit and withdrawal function, we are soon going to allow you to purchase cryptocurrency on pending balance. That means you have a $0 cash balance. That means we were at the bar and I said, hey, pay me with Bitcoin for this beer. And you said, sure, let me sign up for metal. You signed in, and in under like 2 minutes, you've sent me some Bitcoin on our platform. And yes, it's pending in your wallet, but you can still sell it to cash, convert it to other cryptocurrencies. It's just not going to hit your bank until my side clears, right? So that's really cool. So we could buy crypto and transfer on the spot. No one's ever been able to do that before. Why we didn't put that as a major focus of cryptocurrency adoption was because we were so focused on price, so focused on buy low, sell high, when we should have been focused on get Bitcoin into my wallet right now, right? And that's a big piece. So sorry to ramble, but I love that feature. I love that idea, and that's going to go hand in hand with mainnet deposit withdrawal.
Super interesting. All right. So speaking of, cashing out and sending money back and forth, or, withdrawing cash from your account, underscore Mimigal is wondering if there is going to be a Metal Pay instant cash out feature anytime soon.
Is that for, just to clarify this question, that's the same day ACH and push to debit feature. So that means like when I go into Venmo and I can withdraw all the money in the account and they charge me 1%, I get it on my debit card immediately. Is that the question?
So all I'm saying is like instant cash out. So yeah. I would guess.
I think that's what it is. Yeah. That is imminent. That is within the next few releases. So yeah,
awesome.
That's one of our biggest things. What does Metal have? What does Metal not have that Square and Venmo have? Well, they're multi-billion-dollar companies, so they have a lot more to work with. But Metal is rapidly approaching the features that we're going to add that's going to get to parity with Venmo and Square Cash is same day withdrawal. We just talked about the debit card. So the physical and virtual debit card, the physical one in your wallet that links to your cash card, but also the virtual one that rests in Apple Pay and GPay. So tap to pay at Whole Foods, whatever. And also the ability to deposit and withdraw and transfer cryptos in app. In fact, I don't think they don't have that yet, but those features, the debit card and the instant withdrawal, those features are imminent. Same day withdrawal, that's coming very soon. Once we close our A round, we're in the process of closing that right now. We're going to immediately start our card development on our card program and releasing that.
Awesome to hear it. All right. Next up, B Corgi. Yeah, that's B Corgi 12. They are wondering, so Metal feels like it can have significant utility outside of just the Metal app. What other platforms do you see Metal being able to provide value on?
Absolutely. So it's really interesting because you have all these different payment apps all over the world, right? You have Paga in Nigeria. You have TransferWise in Europe, Revolut in Europe. You have Venmo and Square Cash in US. You have all these apps all over the world, but do they connect to each other? No, they don't. And in reality, I think a lot of them are going to start to introduce stable coins, but realistically, how do we request payments, request identity over the blockchain? How do we do that? I don't know of any way to do that right now. In fact, if I go to Kraken or Binance and I go to verify my account, guys, what do? We write on a piece of paper, we hold it next to our face and go, I'm not being kidnapped. Here's the date, whatever. But in the future, wouldn't I just, deposit some crypto into some metal into Binance, and it just says on my phone, Binance is trying to verify you. I click yes. And then there's my picture on Binance. I'm verified, right? That makes so much sense. So what does the metal blockchain do? And what are we planning to do with the metal blockchain? We're going to integrate identity into the blockchain, reputation score, risk score, transaction data. Is it an ACH transfer? Is it an IBAN transfer, SEPA transfer? And the ability to do payment request over the chain. So that means that the future metal blockchain, I'll pay one metal and I will get your identity and I will be able to request payments from you from any app that can connect to the blockchain. I don't need a permission for that. So that's really cool. That's one of the biggest missing things. And then obviously, of course, our own SDK for the Metal Pay platform for Nebula that you can sign up for. Like, say I was going to build on top of Venmo or PayPal, I'd go hit their API page. Same thing with Metal. So that is really one of the biggest. That's really one of the biggest barriers that I think to crypto is we don't have identity on chain. I can't request crypto from your wallet, from my wallet, but we're building the protocol and platform for that on the Metal blockchain, and we're linking it to all these other blockchains as well. So I think that is really kind of the biggest thing. When I mentioned Paga, they're a Nigerian payment platform that's fast, quickly growing. They just raised 10 million in November. What do they do when they want to connect to the US? Who do they connect to, right? Well, they could connect with us, but what if we had a shared ledger? What if there was a shared ledger? Oh, hey, that's cryptocurrency, right? We just need a few extra features. We need identity, we need risk scoring, we need these other things in the chain. Once we have those, we can do anything. And I know that might go against some cryptocurrency ethos, but that's the freedom of choice, right? We can use Monero, we can use Zcash, we can use Dash, or we can, be a normal person and go into, like Facebook. Not saying that you're not a normal person if you want your privacy. You are a very reasonable, smart person for protecting your privacy. And that's the cool part. I think we can have both of these things. We can opt into the identity piece as little or as much as we want to. That's the missing link.
Sort of a best of both worlds kind of situation. Okay.
Right.
So why don't we jump back to Cryptocopia? So next up, Unchained, except the U is missing. So Unchained with a 1 instead of the I. They're wondering, so with mass adoption lingering, will MetalPay adopt popular fiat options such as loans or keeping the change features or the ability to direct deposit payroll along with the use of a debit card?
Yes, absolutely. So not everybody knows this, and we're adding the messaging to Metal, but when you sign up for Metal right now, you're opening a checking account. You're opening an FDIC insured demand deposit account that has its own account number in your name and the routing number of our bank partner. So pretty soon we're going to, the same as Square Cash, allow you to expose your account and routing number for direct deposit. We also are planning on releasing our debit card, our check writing capability, lending, so you can just quickly get a cash advance if you need right inside the app. Everything you would expect from your bank, you'll see inside Metal, and all of the cool crypto stuff that your bank is going to take a few years to get around to. And then when they do, you'll see powered by Metal, right inside the bank, right? Hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood. But that's the idea. And thank you, Unchained. We go way back. Great question. That's the goal, right? I want my banking experience to be an amazing experience. How many Americans or people around the world open their bank at the end of the month and have this experience and they go, yeah, right? Most people open their bank account and go, shit, like, this is not what I want to see, right? Or we open our Blockfolio and go, right, at these times, right? But the really cool thing is that we should be, no matter where we're at, we should have this experience of like learning, right? We're learning, we're saving more money, we're learning about other cryptos, financial technology. And over time, that knowledge turns into money, that turns into value, and that value can be transmitted to other people, like the number 4 in the meme. That is the really cool thing. And so, yeah, to answer Unchained, we are launching all those features and more. So everything your existing traditional bank does, you're going to see that stuff in Metal rolling out soon. And also, I'd like to add all the features for all of our Crumbs users. We acquired a company called Crumbs, which is really cool, sort of like the acorns of crypto, which would round up your purchases, also allow you to do recurring buys, basket buys of like a portfolio. We're about to add those features as well inside of Metal. So all of your favorite crypto features and things you haven't even thought of or seen yet, plus everything inside your bank in a much more fun and rewarding social environment.
So your devs are busy.
Yes, yeah, we're really, really busy. We're hiring, we're raising. I think, you know, the really forward-thinking venture capital and angel investors and developers and business executives are looking at us like, this is really cool. We want to be a part of this team. So
Awesome.
if you want to invest or join the most fastest growing mobile payment startup in the US, hit us up. All
right. You heard it here first. All right. Next up, Yicky. We were actually talking earlier today, so shout out to Yicky. Yicky's wondering, MetalPay, FuseX, and Monaco, are they all competing in the same segment? You know, who do you view as your biggest competitors?
Yeah, you know, so I don't 100%. Now my AirPods are doing this thing where I'm gonna charge one and let the other one sit. About to run out of battery. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thanks.
Okay, cool. So yeah, to answer that question, that's a great question. Hi, Yuki. So I can't really speak for the founders like Chris, and I don't know the founder of FuseX, but I'm familiar with the product. One of the things that I have seen a lot, and that's one of the things that gets confused with us, is people say, "Oh yeah, Metal, Monaco, 10x, you know, FuseX, yeah, you're all crypto debit card. Oh, when I can spend, you know, my crypto over debit card, isn't that going to be adoption?" Well, not quite, right? Because we saw that in 2014. That was the big moment. Hey, Zappo is going to release a debit card. BitPay is going to release a debit card. Coinbase is going to release a debit card. Well, what's happening? Coinbase just shut down its debit card. It doesn't really necessarily equate because we have this mixed messaging. HODL, but spend it. Well, that doesn't make any sense, right? So we are not a crypto debit card company. That's the big differentiation. And if Monaco and 10x are doing something else, maybe I don't know. But I don't view us as the same as these crypto debit card companies that say the future is being able to buy this highly speculative asset and spend it over Visa. No, we're changing the way people view money. We view ourselves as a challenger bank that integrates cryptocurrency. I think that's a little different than the prepaid debit card that allows you to deposit crypto and spend it. So we really want to create this endorphin rushing experience of, wow, money is actually really cool. Money is a game. And we can play it and I can win, right? How often have we thought like, money's a game that I can win, right? Like we don't think that, you know, usually it's sort of like money is a soul crushing thing that it's very evil, but in fact, it's really what you make it. So
maybe a few of the traders in Cryptocopia have, but I guess, you know, not everybody in the world has.
Shout out to the whales.
I mean, maybe that'll change. Hey, shout out to the whales. Next up, Sodi_Pop. Sodi Pop wants to know if the Pop pool is completely used up before 10 years, what would the Metal team do? Would they add additional funds?
Yeah, we would repurchase. So I really shout out to CZ and the team at Binance. I think, you know, tremendous product. Shout out to Victor and team at Trust Wallet. Tremendous product, very future forward thinking. And I love the model behind Binance chain. So cool. Decentralized DEX, you know, the way that they've initiated the buyback. That's very cool. That's something that's really part of our strategy internally. Not only buying Metal, but buying other coins as well. But really focus on Metal owning as much of the Metal blockchain as possible. We want to get it out there. And yes, we want the natural economic forces. We want people to fight over it, try to control it, but we're going to try to buy it back. So that's one thing. But this question gets asked a lot. What happens when the Pop pool runs dry, right? And I've always answered it the same way. Then we win. If we go anywhere even close to 10 years of Pop, that would be absolutely phenomenal. That would expose millions and millions and double-digit millions of users to cryptocurrency in a way that was friendly, fun, rewarding. I tried Bitcoin. I lost my private keys. I got hacked. It sucked. I'm never coming back. I downloaded Metal. I sent a payment for rent. I got a pretty sizable reward back. I sent that to my friends. I embedded my identity in the blockchain, and now I get paid every time I take out a loan instead of dinging my credit score in the future, I just, I don't give out my social security number and let Equifax get it compromised. I crypto sign it. You send me a challenge, response, boom. And I'm going to get paid a little bit for it. That's a really cool idea. We are going to launch other cryptos over Pop as well. That's part of our business model. So some people were nervous and said, well, will that dilute the value of metal? No, because metal is always going to be the one that is really, really key to the infrastructure and the ecosystem and embedding identity. And we're about to start to release these incentives and future blockchain plans. I know everybody's been asking, but as a product focused guy, I wanted to solve some of the biggest problems, which are, I want to get my grandmother on this. I want to send this to my friend, my non-crypto friend, and have them go, wow, Marshall, crypto is really cool. It makes sense. How many times have we tried to refer a friend and we crypto out on them and say, hey, crypto is so cool. And they're like, you are insane. I'm not doing that. Right. But maybe, hey, you know, I paid my buddy Alex for dinner, sushi dinner here when I first arrived in San Francisco, $30, right? What was the price of Bitcoin then? Well, that turned into a very expensive sushi dinner, just like the Bitcoin pizza. And I'm not saying that, you know, everything's going to go up and up and up all the time, but that was a really cool experience. And that's the experience we want our users to have, you know, yeah, I paid my rent on time. Boom, I popped a discount on my future rent. I popped a discount on other products I want to buy. I got some metal. I got some other cryptos. Maybe I even got Starbucks coin, Facebook coin.
Yeah, hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Let's switch it back to Twitter. All right. P. Warzinskiewicz wants to know if you could talk about the marketing plan for MetalPay a little bit. What major development milestones exactly do you need to achieve before the aggressive marketing starts?
Yeah. So really, you've probably seen over the past month, we hit number 12 in the App Store, right? This was sort of like the pre-pump little test, right? Like, let's test and see how this works. Referrals. At what point when we raise the referral and Pop and certain features, when do people really start to FOMO out and they have to, you know, get in here? And then how do we fix the fraud and how do we make sure that everybody's authentic? Really, I believe it's going to start after our first financing round or in our Series A. And that's the stage we're at right now. We're talking to a lot of venture capital, establishing our lead and bringing our follow on. That's really going to be the biggest piece. So once we close our round and we can essentially, you know, demarcate our budget for marketing, and a lot of really talented people, they look for that, you know, who just closed a big round. I want to go work there. That looks like a very innovative company. So we want to bring on the best marketers, the best people. We recently hired Daniel Modell from Amazon. Brilliant, awesome marketer. Shout out to Daniel. And the whole team, really. Dustin, no FOMO. Some people know of him in the community. Really awesome guy, great marketing mind. Really, after this financing round, that's when you're going to start to see billboards, TV commercials, different, more mainstream stuff. We wanted to do our first big kind of test around December to see, like, well, let's see how quickly we can get people in here. Let's really kickstart this thing. And we have a larger plan. But before we start to throw a lot of marketing dollars at things that we're not sure are going to work, let's start to QA and test. So really over the next few months, as we close our round and we bring in more developers, more marketing people, more executives, the focus is going to be around really pushing the mainstream marketing. But we want to fine tune those pieces. One of the things I want to remove before we start that is the KYC at onboarding. We started that way so we could trim down fraud, we could identify real users. But we really love the idea of having Android and iOS at the same time, because when we get out there, that is essentially, you know, what we want to do. We want to have a platform that works for web, that works for Android, that everybody can use. It's all about having as minimal friction as possible. So you'll feel it. The moment metal starts to be really frictionless and you can just get anybody on it anywhere in the world at any time, that's when it really starts to blow up.
Awesome. All right, jumping back to Cryptocopia real fast. Bandersnatcher wants to know the average daily. Whoa, that question just changed real fast. I was looking at it. They were looking at the daily transaction value overall on the Metal platform, and what some of the metrics might look like of the daily volume that you're seeing.
Yeah. So when we first started in September of 2018 last year, coming up on our 6 month anniversary, we were seeing about it. We saw like 1,000 users sign up because all these people are waiting at the gate, and then whoa, KYC only US. Oh, that sucks, right? But that's every startup has to start somewhere, and we were seeing about $1,000 a day transactional volume, about 20 users to where we are today, right?
Mm.
Now we're seeing about like anywhere from $40,000 to $50,000 transactional volume. We used to get only 20 users a day. Now we get on average. Well, right now we're trimmed down to about like 150 to 250 users per day.
That's
Because
also during a bear market.
well, yeah, that's true. But this is actually because we started to cut referrals down and pop and other things down a little bit, so we could focus on the anti-fraud features. So that's something that's not really as well known. But right before we're doing that, easy, like anywhere from like 500 to 2,500 users a day coming in. So yeah, we're experimenting with getting our CAC down, cost of acquisition down, and part of that is coming into a round showing investors, hey, we could acquire for the absolute best price, and the lifetime value of the user is really high.
Awesome. All right. Back to Twitter, dumpster dealers. Oh my God, these names today, you guys, they're incredible. What kind of utilities do you expect to see for users for holding their metal tokens this year, coming that's maybe not on the platform right now? Like, are there going to be enhanced pop rewards, maybe some
Yeah.
discounts, popping additional currencies, which I know you already mentioned?
Yep. So many things. There's two different elements to this, and one element, and very little is known because we're in the valley. People copy. People try to, the second you release something good, it gets out there. So that has been a thing that has been very not normal for crypto company to kind of keep cards closer to the chest. And yeah, maybe we took a hit in the market because of that. Because where's your roadmap, right? Well, we don't really like to put all that stuff out there because then I see metal with a W or something, right? Or with two L's. So basically, what we I'm sorry, I kind of lost track of the question here.
Let me, sorry, jump back. Yeah, of course. Basically, what kind of utility can users on Metal Pay expect to see added in the coming year? Are they, maybe going to see some enhanced pop rewards or discounts or things like that?
Right. So we have the Metal platform rewards, which are centralized to our platform. And then we have the Metal blockchain piece, which is going to be completely different. So on the Metal pop rewards inside the platform, some of the things you can imagine, right? Guaranteed higher pop from locking up pop, right? So you want to get 5% all the time? Well, you're going to have to lock up a certain amount of pop, right? You want to pop other currencies? You're going to have to activate them by locking up some Metal. You want to access special features inside the app, including like an instant loan, lending, things like that. Lock up a few Metal. And so those are some of the things that you're going to see inside the app on the platform. Also the ability to have verified user tags, right? That little blue check mark on Twitter, on Facebook. Yeah, you can get those. Lock up some Metal, right? So think about all the kind of social things that you want that make it special, right? You want a really cool debit card that also doubles as a hardware wallet with the LCD screen on it that's Metal branded, interacts with the app. Oh, by the way, that's a real thing. One of our partner companies, Cool Wallet, and they are very cool. If you can see this, this is something that we're working on partnering with these guys. It has an LCD screen on side of yeah, and it's a tracer that's that thin. It's so thin. Fits in my wallet. So cool. Shout out to Cool Wallet team and Thomas over at the Cool Wallet team and everyone over there. We are going to be releasing those features. Those are platform specific features. And then there's the Metal blockchain. Really nobody, even in our community, knows very much about it. We've kept it very close to the chest, and we are releasing a new white paper soon. So that is very exciting. The Metal blockchain, what does the Metal blockchain do? The Metal blockchain is going to embed identity, embed risk scoring, payment transactional data. Is it ACH? Is it an ACH transfer? Is it a SEPA transfer? Sometimes we joke about it. We call it ACH chain because we are trying to rebuild the existing financial transfer system, the way that banks transfer money, because a lot of it's kind of broken. You want to transfer some money to me? Give me the keys to your bank account. Give me the keys to your house, and I'll go borrow some stuff and I'll lock up on my way out. Now give everybody in town a copy of the key to your house. Wait, did somebody steal something? Which one of you stole something? That's a big problem. So on the blockchain, that's really cool because we could request, like I was talking about earlier, requesting a payment over the blockchain. We could also request identity. So you could imagine in the future, we may request, hey, I want to request your identity for a loan. Well, I'm going to pay you. And how am I going to do that? I'm going to pay one metal into the, to mine the transaction. And then you have a bounty for requesting your information. And every business has a cost of acquisition for a user. So why shouldn't you get paid directly for applying for a loan versus your credit score getting dinged? That doesn't make any sense. And so those are going to be some of the things that are going to be metal blockchain specific, as well as, and I'll give a little leak, minting currency for holding currency. So why should I have to pay for transaction fees? I should just hold a little bit of metal and I should have all of my transaction fees paid for.
Wow. That's super interesting.
So I'm dropping secret stuff, but I want to give some juicy stuff to the Cryptocopia community and anybody that's watching right now. So
we appreciate it. We really do. I mean, it's just so cool to hear about, the front lines of like, what is possible with this new technology, right? And what hasn't been announced, what hasn't really been figured out yet.
That's it.
So let's just do the last question here from Cryptocopia. Chris J wants to know, and I know a lot of us are excited about the Android version, myself especially, as I don't have an iPhone. But since you guys are iPhone only, when is the Android version being launched?
So the Android version is going to be launched. Well, I don't want to give a hard date, so I've gotten burned before from saying like hard dates because, as all the developers watching this know, software is hard. Hardware is even harder, right? But software is hard. And we have 2 full-time developers working right now. I can tell you that it's imminent, that it's really not far away at all. It is releasing this year. I don't want to give the exact time frame, but you're starting to see the screenshots pop up, the videos pop up on our social media. Why is that? Because we're getting very close to getting ready to release. But before we release, one of the things that we have to do is we call in the community to do QA testing. So we give access to community members and they play around with it. And the Metal community, big shout out to the Metal community, because a lot of the features you see inside the app is really from the community coming together and testing it and saying, this works, this doesn't, change this, change that. And we see this really, really cool feedback. So Android, everybody wants to know when Android's coming. I could say around summer, a little bit before or during summertime. That's really kind of the internal target date. But just please, community, don't hold me to it. Sometimes scope creep happens. I don't want to put a hard date, but I will say that you're going to see it very soon. So Android users are going to be super pumped to see that. And we're also releasing the web version as well. So we're working on the web version. And that's multi-platform, multi-device. So use your laptop, use your tablet, whatever you want.
Okay. Awesome. Marshall, listen, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you jumping on with us. This has been a pleasure. So I just want to say real fast, thank you, to everybody who asked a question during the live stream. Congratulations. Y'all have won yourself some metal. So the metal team will be reaching out to you pretty shortly. Quick little golf clap for you guys. and yeah, so Cryptocopia, if you are not familiar with our community, we are a Discord community that you can join in the description below the live stream link. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel because we do these weekly AMAs every week, as you would expect from the word weekly, right? We announce our next guests on Twitter, so follow us at crypto_copia. Marshall, are there any links, websites, plugs, blog posts, anything that you want to plug right now to direct everybody to the metal community?
Yes, 2 final things. One, I just want to say thank you to the Cryptocopia community. Thank you, Mike, all the admins. Thank you, everyone, for putting this together. The metal community, you guys are amazing, and cryptocurrency community in general. Thank you for being awesome and being part of the future. I do want to drop one little really cool thing. Metal as a company has been very community focused and oriented, and as we are doing our round, one of the things that we really want to do is we want to involve the community. We really want to give people the opportunity to be part of Metal. And so one of the things you're going to see over the next couple of months is a crowd fund. And it's not so much about funding a round. Some people may be familiar with Reg CF, Jobs Act. It's really about bringing people in, being part of the story, because that's what cryptocurrency is. So I really implore people to come and check out the metal community. And we are going to be doing a crowd fund, not so much crypto related, but this is just equity crowd fund later, I believe at the end of this month. So we're going to be putting that out. Follow us on Twitter, Metal Pays Me. Metal Pays Me on Instagram, Metal Pays Me on Facebook. And I love you guys. Thank you so much. Cheers. Shout out. Rock.
Love you back, Marshall. Thank you again so much for coming on. It's been a real pleasure. We've enjoyed chatting with you, hearing your thoughts on, just cryptocurrency in general and where things are going, but also where metal's going. Thank you everybody for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Good night.
Chase the wind and touch the sky.